guys, how's it going? It's Brianna. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. This is my last video in this outfit, thank God. For this video, I decided to rate all of my K-pop concert experiences of this year, kind of talk about my experience, my favorite parts, and give it a rating 1 out of 10. This video is inspired by Control Amanda, so I will link her video in the description. And yeah, I just felt like it would be fun. And there was a lot of videos that I didn't make vlogs on. There's a lot of concerts that I went to that I didn't vlog, so I could kind of talk about, you know, my experience, my favorite parts, and maybe show some concert clips. So that's why I wanted to do this. So hopefully this is fun. So yeah, let's get into it. So for each show, I will talk about my favorite part, the kind of my feelings on the set list and kind of like what was performed and how, and then if there was any members or moments that I really like was surprised by and really loved, and then kind of rank it from 1 to 10. I'm a little bit of a harsh grader, so I'm not. I mean, I don't know. What am I? I don't know. Okay, so the first show I went to this year was in April, and it was BTS, Permission to Dance Las Vegas. I went to the second weekend, so night 3 and 4, and yeah, I did vlog that, so it will be linked, and those shows were fantastic. My seats for the first night were in the like 200s or the 300s. My seat for the second night was like the 400s or the 300s. I can't remember. Either 200s and 300s, or 200s and 300s, or 300s and 400s, something like that. But moral of the story is I was far away. Moral of the story is Yoongi couldn't see me, unfortunately. So my favorite song that they performed was Home. The fact that I have seen one of my favorite songs live twice, it was awesome. I love that song so much, and it was iconic, and I'm so glad that they played it. And the energy was like amazing. The Black Swan performance that they put on for the Permission to Dance shows is like incredible. Black Swan is such an incredible song, and I'm glad that I got to see that. So yeah, I feel like I'm like, so that was +1 point, you know? Blue and Gray, -1 point. The existence of Permission to Dance, -1 point, you know? This is me balancing it out. But overall, I think my rating for this show is an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Those concerts did not kind of outsell the last times I had seen them. So that's why it's an 8 out of 10 for me. The next show I went to also was in April, and this was CIX. I saw them in Berkeley. Yeah, in Berkeley. Hello. So my camera battery died, and I went to go charge it, and while I charged it, I got some boba. So we're back, we're better. And I think I was talking about CIX. This video will be dark mode. I thought I would be during the day, it was not. I was in the kind of the back of the front pit, and there was a ton of space, and it was comfortable, and I had a perfect view, even with, you know, everyone's phones. But this show was kind of like, there wasn't a ton, there was like one screen, and it wasn't really utilized that well. I felt like, so I felt like as a show, like as the show itself, the quality of the show wasn't that high. But the performance was good. I thought that their performance was really good. Their set was pretty short, which was interesting because I feel like they have a ton of music and a ton of like good music that they like could have played. But I remember that show being pretty short. I remember it being super in and out, which I love personally. Yeah, the show itself, I remember the Jinyoung Hyunsuk performance that was viral on Twitter. It was viral for a reason. I thought that was wild. It was really good. I also really loved Movie Star and Cinema because I think that those are peak K-pop. I'm like, that is music. That is music. So it was fun to see those songs live. And I remember they had a really good like encore song. They ended with The One. And it was just like upbeat, fun, lots of interaction. So yeah, that's how I feel about the CIX show. I kind of like had to jog my memory about like how I felt about it and kind of what went down during the show, of like the set list and, you know, my favorite parts. So I give this show a 7 out of 10. I do have my notes here. That's why I'm like, cause I have to remember. Yeah, I give the show a 7 out of 10 because there were parts that are already like forgettable and didn't really stick with me. But you know, the few parts that I remember I really liked. My next show was P1 Harmony. This one was in like May in San Jose. And I had P3 for this show, so it came with High Touch, which was walk and wave through a screen, but it was still fun and still nice. So this show was so good. Like, this show I remember so much of, and I remember just like as it was happening, I was like, they're so good. Like I felt really like engaged in it, even though, you know, my seat wasn't the closest. I think there was like a lot to take in. I felt like their VCRs were so good, the fact that they had screens, like all of these like kind of little things made the like experience really good. My favorite performances, honestly, there were so many. I loved Follow Me. They just like had it was such a good like crowd energy. This was the last show on their tour, and I feel like they just like knew how to keep the crowd energy up so well, and they were just so good performers, and this was their first tour. I was like, you guys are gonna keep getting better. So it was really exciting, and I'm so glad I saw them. I think it like made me like P1 even more. So that show was really good. And then my little High Touch, that was my first kind of like screen High Touch, kind of like post-COVID, and I think they're awkward, honestly. I think they are awkward, but it's fun to see them that close, I guess. I don't know, whatever. So I give this show an 8.5 out of 10. It was great, very enjoyable. And for my smaller shows that I saw this year, by far the best and the one I enjoyed the most. Next, we're gonna talk about the boyz tour. I'm not gonna talk about a lot because I do have a vlog for this and I recap at the end of that video. But I went to 4 of the boyz shows. I went to LA, Chicago, Newark, and Atlanta. And of those shows, my favorite show was Atlanta. It was the last one. And I was barricade, so I enjoyed it the most. I also really loved Newark, which was the show right before. And for that show, I was second row. So all of these shows, I was like first 5-ish rows, and they were all fantastic. I love the boyz. They're my alts, if you didn't know. And me in every video. Did you know the boyz are my alt? But maybe you didn't. I had just the best time on that tour, and I traveled with my friends, and we just had like so many fun memories and so many fun like interactions, and they were just good shows. But since it was the beginning, those were the first shows of their world tour, so I think they kind of took some time to loosen up, which I think is why I like the Atlanta shows, because they were more kind of like having more fun on stage, you could feel like, instead of like kind of being more calculated. And Thrill Ride especially, like that song was just made for the summer, and to like see it live with like different crowds and people who loved it, they would have so much fun during that show and during that song. And the crowd, why is it blurry? Hello? And the crowd would have so much fun during that song. So Thrill Ride was a highlight every single night, and as well as Daydream, because I love that song. I think it's one of the boyz' best songs, and the fact that they played it, I love it. So yeah, and they closed the kind of like actual show with it before the encore, and I thought it was a perfect choice for that. So yeah, those are my tops. The boyz vlogs, definitely watch that vlog. I think it's my favorite vlog that I've made. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. I rate that tour a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10 if Eric was there and if they played Salty. That would be all I would need. The next show that I went to was Stray Kids. This one was in Oakland, and it was an arena show. This show was so good. I felt like their show was sized well, like for an arena, like the effects that they had in the state and like the songs they did on the main stage and the B stage and their interactions. I just felt like it was in many ways a really like perfect show. Red Lights went crazy. Red Lights went crazy, and Thunderous was iconic. I wish like when I watch performances like Thunderous on the, what was that tour called, Maniac tour, I wish I could record with my eyes like in Black Mirror. Like I need to rewatch that one. Also, their set list was incredible. I think that I was like amazed by their energy. Like I was getting tired of watching them because they have so many like insane high energy songs, and they would just play them back to back to back without like even a talking break. I'd be like, I'm tired, give me a break, please. Please. My favorite hack that I implemented during this show is if you get to the venue too late to get merch, go between the actual show and the encore. Just go run and get merch, because it's always a longer time than you think. It will not take you more than 10 minutes, depending on where your seat is, to go buy the merch and come back. So, and they're backstage for a while, especially like if you go right after they like jump off the stage, it'll take a while. And then there's a VCR and then they come back, so you got time. That's a good hack. Ethiopia Top. They played Top, they played Scars. Like I just feel like the amount of song, like they pulled from all of their albums really well, and they played like songs that you wouldn't actually expect. So I loved it. This show was a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, and if they tour again, I'm not seeing them once, at least twice. It was that good, and I want to be a little bit closer, I'm not gonna lie. The next show I went to was TXT, and this was in San Francisco, and this show was, I was not expecting to go because I tried for tickets and they sold out so stupid fast, so I was like, it's not meant to be. And then the resale was like absolutely insane. But my friend had extra tickets and I got to go last minute, and I'm so excited because my seat was like an aisle seat on the floor, and so I got a little super high touch, and they all walked by kind of like right where my section was, so I'll like insert the clips. But that was super fun and super unexpected because I didn't think I was going to the show. That show was really good. And I loved the way that they used the like screens. That I feel like, I mean, I think this is like common knowledge, but I feel like TXT coming back to do a tour kind of like of that size when it should have been an arena tour was weird. And I didn't like it. Kind of like as I was watching the show, I was like, this should be in an arena. I don't like get why it's not. So that's annoying, but that's kind of the tour as a whole, not really like my show. But the show itself was amazing. The like screens, the outfits, the set list, I feel like it was so good. And yeah, they played a good like mix of all of their music, because TXT has so much music. I love that they played like Crown and Blue Orangeade, because debut era I was a big old MOA, so I was excited that like when they were playing those songs, I like realized how much I loved them. So that was really fun. I also loved Frost and Opening Sequence, like those more angsty songs. I feel like that tour is really good, but I think it wasn't as like memorable for me, like in general. Even though the show was good, I don't really like think back about it a lot. So this one was a 7 out of 10. Enjoyable in the moment. Glad I went, glad I got to go, and everything's positive, but like I don't think about it that much, you know? That's why it's kind of a lower ranking, but still great. The next show is a show that I wish I vlogged. Honestly, wish I vlogged. I think I was planning to vlog it, but then I didn't. And it is 17. One of the best shows I've ever seen. One of the best shows I've ever seen. It was incredible. It was show-stopping. It was good, and I wanted to go twice, but I couldn't get tickets. The OTU show was like one of the last concerts. It was the last show that I like traveled for. before the pandemic, and it just like stuck with me so much. I think that like show was so much fun. Specifically the section where they played Pretty You and Monse and Just Do It. That little kind of section of the show was like my serotonin for the beginning of the pandemic. So I'm so glad that like this show like felt like that show. Like it was so much fun to be there and like watching them and knowing like that they've gotten even more successful since then. It was so just like heartwarming. Favorite performances like of the actual show were the unit stages were all so good. Like every single unit stage. Vocal unit is like where all my biases are, but like every single unit stage I was like, actually, I love you. So it was crazy, especially Game Boy. Are you joking? Yeah, Crush and Shadow, it was just so good. The iconic Never Ending Aju Nice is like fuel for my soul. So it made me feel very whole. Like I could have kept going. At any given point, I want to see 17 in Korea because I'm like, let me see if I could actually do it the way I think I can, you know? Like I want to know. Them like choosing people in the audience to like sing Aju Nice or dance for Snap Shoot, like it just felt like so engaging and exciting to watch. So I don't think I'll that show is like inked in my memory. It was so much fun, and next time they tour, I'm seeing them again multiple times, and I'm buying the tickets when they go on sale. Because every time I don't see them. So, yeah. This show, 9.5 out of 10. The only way it could have been a 10 is if they played To You. Because, have you heard that song? They should have played it. So, my last K-pop concert experience was kcon. Woo! So it was kcon LA, and it was in August, and there were so many groups, and I did vlog this one, so there's that vlog. But actually, my vlog's not that good. It doesn't really have a lot of what I did, who I saw. I think kcon naturally is like very overwhelming. Like there's a lot going on for a whole weekend, and at any given point, you're missing out. At any given point, you are like late for something, or like something's about to happen, or there's an idol like walking past you. Like that's how kcon works. So it can be a little stressful. Honestly, I had a lot of fun. I went with like a huge friend group. There was like 10 of us who were like staying together and just going to the shows and the events and stuff together. So that was super exciting. I was really excited for like the girl groups and like the other groups that I hadn't ever seen before. So super excited for WJSN and Luna, because I couldn't get Luna tickets, but their sets were really short. A lot of the whole weekend, all of the sets were pretty short. I think the longest set was AT's. Their set was like abnormally long. I don't know why. Their set was great. But I think like even NCT Dream, who like closed out on the second day, I think they only played 5 or 6 songs. So yeah, all of the sets were kind of short. Maybe that's how kcon always is, I can't remember. But P1 Harmony only played 2 songs. Like a lot of the rookie groups only played 2 songs, and I'm like, that's too short. Give them 3, you know? Give them at least 15 minutes. Gravity was super fun. I don't think I would go see Gravity on tour, but Adrenaline is one of the best songs of the year. Adrenaline is K-pop, you know? So glad I got to see that song live. That was a highlight for me. Luna, they played Voice, they played Paint the Town. Luna was so great. I think there was like 3 members missing though. Luna was just going through it. I was kind of sad about Stacy that they only played Beautiful Monster and Run to You, because why would you as Stacy not play ASAP? Why would you not? So that was kind of sad. Or Stereotype. Like Stacy deserved at least 5 songs. You know? Stacey could have played their whole discography from start to finish, and it would have been great. I had High Touch for WJSN, and it was another one of the kind of like through the screens High Touch, which are a little bit awkward. I think it's awkward because it's like you can't actually talk to them, and if you can, you kind of have to scream. So I don't really know what to say. So I'm like, they can't hear you because I can't hear them, you know? I went for everyone, but I went mostly for the boys, and they like flew in like 5 minutes before they went on stage, and then they flew out. So they didn't do red carpet, which was kind of sad because I think literally every other group did that. Yeah, the boys were super fun. Like literally one of my favorite memories of the year was when they came out for Maverick, when they opened KCON for Maverick. It was just like, nothing feels like that. But NCT Dream was like right after the boys, and I feel like my brain wasn't in the right place. So I need to see NCT Dream again because I love them. So kcon was like a fun experience for just like hanging out in LA with all of my friends. Like I mentioned, lots of short sets, kind of overwhelming as an event in general. So it's an 8 out of 10 for me. Very fun, but had its cons. So yeah, I think that is all of my thoughts on all of my K-pop experiences of 2022. Shows that I missed out on were Luna, Twice, NCT 127, Camp. That was God looking out for me. There was more that I like had planned to go to, but then I didn't. Eric Nam, some other shows. So I didn't go to every tour this year, but I'm glad with the ones that I did go to. Let me know about your concert experiences. What were your favorites of the year? Who do you hope to see? Who do you hope is touring next year? I love concerts. Clearly, I just talked about like 12 that I went to this year, and overall I had fun at all of them. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.